Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Mariana, and with summer coming to an end, I decided to do a dried press flower theme. For that, I use flowers that I collected over the summer and some that my aunt gave to me. And if you'd like to know how I did this process in detail, I can do an in-depth video teaching you how to press and dry the flowers for you to use in your own bullet journal. I hope you enjoy seeing my process, so let's get started. In order to create this theme, I had to collect, dry and press the flowers used for September's Plan with Me. I researched some different techniques on how to dry and press flowers. As it was my first time doing it, I wanted to make sure I would be successful and decided to use a few techniques. To press the different sets of flowers, I used two thick books. In the first book, I put the flowers inside of thin kitchen paper. And in the second book, I decided to use vegetable paper. I added more weight on top of each book every other day to further press the flower sets. To decorate the spreads, I'm using two different square pattern washi tapes from AliExpress, and for the lettering, I will be using my Paper Source stackable letter set and a black ink pad. For the cover page, I wanted to create a kind of simple but cute window, as if we were looking back at summer, which is coming to an end. I made a small cut with my X-Acto knife and opened a circular shape. I played around with different papers, the flowers and leaves layout. I attempted to add a little bit of a metallic silver tone around the shape, but I did not like the result. So I removed the ink by making the circle a little bit larger. To stick the vegetable paper to the back of the page, I added some glue, and to further secure it, I sealed the shape with the washi tape. To attach the plant leaves to the page, I used double-side tape. If you want to change the placement, you can easily use the tip of the X-Acto knife to lift the tape, remove it and reapply. For the titles of this month's pages, I decided to use a light brown see-through paper and stamp the words with my Paper Source stackable lettering set. Because you can see some more fiber lines in this paper, the natural vibes of this theme were enhanced. My next page is a goals page. Initially, I stamped the word goals directly on the page, but then decided to use the brown paper to tie in with the cover page the word September. The dots are also from AliExpress. I aimed for a simple page and it turned out better than I expected. As usual, my calendar page boxes are 6 by 6. Surprisingly, this page was super simple and quick to set up. For September's mood tracker, I didn't know how to make the best of the layout, so I decided to simplify it by adding a couple of flowers floating around the page and then added the numbers of the days of the month. During September, I will make a color strip in front of the corresponding number and write down how I was feeling on that specific day. My habit tracker was a tricky one to set up. I decided to do a list to track my habits. To divide the weeks, I made a colored line between Sunday and Monday. I attempted to write my habits on the tiny dots, but it did not look good. So I ended up using multiple Tombow dual brush pen colors as codes for my habits and wrote the corresponding habit next to the color dot on the right side of the page. I'm so happy that when I set up this notebook, I made a mobile spacing grid. It is really handy when it comes to organizing our pages and creating different weekly layouts. Changing the sizes of the boxes for week 1 made the spread look refreshing for me and fun to decorate. For week 2, initially, I had a layout idea that once I put it onto paper, I realized that it would look better as a double spread instead of a single page. So I decided to turn the page next to week 1 as a camping memories page, as I will be going on a camping trip in the first weekend of September, and move the week 2 spread idea to the next page. As my setup was based on washi tape and the flowers, it was super easy to move to another page. To hide the lines I made, I decided to cut a small piece of a different paper to hide them and added the title with my letter stamps and a tiny flower in the corner to tie both spreads in. For weeks 2 layout, I used the white square pattern as the background washi tape, added the flowers and sealed them into place with the second washi tape. This time, the squares pattern has thin lines and has a slightly darker beige tone. These flowers were collected from a tall tree near the church in my grandparents' hometown. The scientific name of this tree is Aldibia juribrissim. This plant is native to southwestern Asia and eastern Asia, being introduced in Europe by an Italian nobleman called Filippo degli Albizzi in the 18th century. When the flowers are fresh, they have a beautiful pink tone, but when dried, they turn into an orange tone. I was surprised by this magic trick once I opened my book to use them in my September setup. For the weekdays, I made 8 boxes of 6 squares horizontally by 18 vertically. I like to have a spare box to write down tasks that I don't know when I will be able to do. For week 3, I decided to adorn the bottom of the page as if the flowers had fallen down. This plant is called Celosia twisted. It exists in a variety of colors and I decided to buy a deep pink one earlier in the summer. I fell in love with its stunning velvety and curly flowers, plus its flowers are meant to last all summer. Clearly, I'm not a good plant mom and end up killing it. As it had no salvation, I salvaged the leftover flowers for this theme. Here is a sneak peek of me preparing the flowers to be pressed and dried. For the weekdays of week 3, I made squares of 1 by 12 for the heading and 12 by 12 for the body of the boxes. I kept the boxes without the borders to give a lighter look to the page. Week's 4 spread was super simple to set up. I focused the decorations in the middle of the page as I decided to carry on doing double weekly spreads. So I mimicked the arrangement for one side to the other, but they are not exactly mirrored. They are more like inverted mirrored style. I hope you understand what I mean by it. I made 1 by 13 for the heading and 8 by 13 for the body of the weekdays. As I made a random wiggly line with my black pen by mistake, I used the white gel pen to cover it up. This month, I'm keeping my weekly spreads more minimal by not enclosing the weekdays with lines that would frame the spaces. For week 5, I decided to frame the top and bottom of the page with these white wildflowers. This time, I simply attached the flowers to the page with washi tape. As I forgot that I was setting up the last weekly spread, I stamped the initials of the weekdays until Sunday. Initially, I tried to fix my mistake with the white gel pen, but because it was so much black ink on the page, it did not work. So, I went to the back pocket of my bullet journal and rescued some random pieces of notebook's paper that I had saved for this type of situations. So, I simply cut the paper to the size I needed and glued it in. Problem sorted. In the end of setting up the whole month, I still felt unsatisfied with my cover page see-through flower arrangement. So I went back and played around a little bit more until I got the feeling of being fully pleased with the end result. And now here it is, the final flip through. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed this theme. If you'd like to learn how to dry and press your own flowers for your bullet journal, please let me know in the comments and I will create that video for you. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, please do it and I will see you next time. Bye!